Hello everyone, it's Cookie Lou in Arizona. As promised, I'm showing you how I make my cauliflower pizza crust recipe. The difference between my recipe and other ones that you might have seen is that there is one step that I do not do that you might have seen on some other recipes. I do not cook or steam my cauliflower before I actually make the pizza crust with it. It's less messy and it's a lot quicker doing it this way. I've seen the other recipe where you shred the cauliflower, you cook it or steam it, and then you put it into a kitchen linen towel and you bunch it up and you squeeze all the water out of it into a bowl and get it all dry before you put your mixture together and then press it into a baking dish and bake it. I eliminate that and it comes out just as good uh, skipping that messy step. So of course you start out with a cauliflower and you shred it up on a shredder or a food processor, whatever you prefer, and make sure that you don't have any large pieces in there, that it's finely shredded, and then you probably have maybe one cauliflower will probably give you maybe 2.5 cups of shredded. Um, so either use all 2.5 cups, and I buy a small one, a small cauliflower. So once it's all shredded, I take 2 cups of the cauliflower and you put it into a bowl, and then you take the mozzarella and you chop that up, shred that up very finely with a grater. Put 2 cups of that into the bowl. I like to use cage-free or organic eggs. I take 2 eggs and I put that into the mix and then I mix it up well. Now I happen to have some pesto sauce in the house and I decided to add a few spoons of the pesto sauce into the mixture to add more flavor. And it was a good idea. You take some parchment paper and you fit it to the size of whatever baking dish that you're using and you cut it out. I happen to use today 2 small 9-inch pie plates because I wanted to make 2 different types of pizza. So I cut out the parchment paper as you can see here. Just chop it up and it doesn't have to be perfect, and then just put it in the pie plate. And I took half the mixture and I put half into each pie plate. Now, of course, if you're using one big baking dish, you take the whole mixture and you put it all in the one baking dish and you flatten it out nice and evenly like I'm doing here by hand into your baking dish. Now, just to see what it would be like not using the parchment paper, I decided to take the other pie pan and just put a little olive oil in there and mush it all around. Now, of course, if you use olive oil, you're going to be getting maybe an extra 100+ calories. And olive oil is pure fat, but so is all the cheese that we're using. But it is more calories when you use olive oil to grease your pan rather than the parchment paper. But I just thought I'd try both ways to see how it turned out. So when I had both pie plates, filled with the mixture, I put them into the oven for about 15 or 20 minutes at 450 degrees. My oven, maybe an extra 5 minutes. That's why I went to 20 minutes with it, because this is the way it's supposed to look when it's done, nice and brown and bubbly. And I need 20 minutes in my oven for it to look like that. So I let them cool off for a while, and then here's some of the parchment paper, lift it up, and you flip it upside down back into the pie pan, and you peel off the paper, and it's real easy to do, I have to say. It was real easy to do. Now, when I used just the oil-based pan, it was stuck. I guess the crusty cheese stuck, and I had to work it loose with a knife to get it, loose. And then I got my spatula, and I kind of had to get it underneath there to flip it over back into the pan. It probably stuck a little bit more than it should have. So here's what it looks like once it's upside down and back into the pie pan. Add your sauce and you mush it around. I use a little Romano cheese basil and garlic powder on my pizza. And I put the garlic powder, I sprinkled the basil, I put a little bit of sprinkle of the Romano grated cheese on top, and then I was prepared for my toppings, and this is what I chose to use for both pies. I have sliced tomato, mozzarella, and I did have some spinach that I had cooked up, but it's in another dish. You can't see it in the shot. And then in the dish that you're seeing here, I had some diced mushrooms, red peppers, and onions, which were cooked and used in another recipe, and I took the leftover and used it for the pizza. Here's what they look like before they go into the oven: spinach and tomato and the mushrooms, and this is what it looks like after it comes out of the oven. Once you top your pizza, you put it back in the 450-degree oven for about, I don't know, 10 minutes until everything melts and looks nice and yummy. Then you cut it up and you plate it up, and this is what the crust looks like up close. And there you go, cauliflower pizza, and it's much more healthier for you. It's low cal and it's no carbs, so enjoy.